Welcome to the 2024 Sedona Ascension Retreat, Accelerating Consciousness. Presenting the Galactic Guest Panel, hosted by myself and Reuben Langdon. The topic for tonight, with these incredible star seeds bringing through star races, is Galactic Ascension. Of course, this is the Sedona Ascension Retreat, so our focus is ascension across the board. But I really wanted to ask questions specifically about how our planetary ascension is supported by the galactics, and is this a galactic ascension? I mean, we know we're all connected, right? All of our minds connected in the one great mind. So in this neural network, are we connected then into all of these intergalactic beings and races? And as we raise our vibration into the next dimension, does it have the galactic effect of raising their vibration into a higher dimension? Do we all shift up? And so is it a collective effort then? So our focus, Galactic Ascension. I'm so delighted to introduce Reuben Langdon. I already asked who knows, and everybody raised their hand. You know? You're famous.
Some circles.
Not to mention he was the stuntman in Avatar for the star.
Jake Sully, I was the stunt double for Jake Sully.
Right?
In Avatar 1. So whenever you saw Jake falling off the horse or learning how to ride the Banshee, those movements were my movements.
Right? Wow. And of course, he's the host of Interviews with Extra Dimensionals on Gaia TV. I just fell in love with this show and couldn't get enough of it. And that's what introduced me to Sean and Rob. I've known Debbie and Viviane and now Wendi for years. And so I'm just so excited about this panel. I'm going to turn it over to Reuben.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. We're in a great event so far. It's been amazing. And we're just getting started. So this is a wonderful panel that we sort of put together here to explore our connections with the galactics. And the idea, this loosely, it's not exactly, but the idea is, how the United Nations sort of brings together different nations to talk about different cultures and different countries with different backgrounds. Well, I figured why don't we do that today with our galactic family? And we have these wonderful galactic representatives to explore and share and talk to about the beings that they channel and the energies that connect into these other worlds that are so intertwined with our worlds, as we're finding out through this exploration, through my show, and through many other great researchers and channelers like themselves. So we have here Capella, the Yahyel, and we'll get into each one as we go, but Pleiades, many are familiar with, Actaurus, and Lyria. And these are some of the archetypal energies that we want to sort of explore today and find out the relationships that they have with humans, right? And how this galactic, we're going beyond the United Nations and we're going to our galactic nations. And I thought, what a fun idea, because we have these wonderful representatives gathered here for this wonderful event. Let's play around. So that's what we're going to do.
So you all had an opportunity to hear Rob and Sean and Wendi. Now let's take an opportunity for Viviane and Debbie to introduce themselves. Viviane?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be with you all. I am an Arcturian being who have returned to the earth into a hybrid human form. I have chosen to be with you, boots on the ground, to experience the biological human realm and existence, we felt we could have a much direct, more impactful situation and being able to bring much more frequencies and impact for the Ascension timeline if I were directly on the planet rather to remain in my Arcturian avatar self. So in a nutshell, this is who we are, and as you will see, we speak a lot as a we, because unlike a live channel, I don't channel, I just let the transmission to flow with my delegation. So right now I got my Arcturian father behind me, and I have a portion of our delegation with us, right there on stage with us. So it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you for having me here on this esteemed panel. I'm very honored. My name is Debbie Soloris. I'm a galactic historian. I'm also a galactic Akashic records guide. So I've done thousands upon thousands of Akashic readings for many clients all around the world in the last 10 or 12 years. And through that, I was able to glean quite a bit of information about not just 1 or 2 star races, but actually quite a few of them. And for the purpose of this panel, I chose Lyria because Lyria is the home of human consciousness, is where our story began. And I hope to share how impactful Lyria and all the other star races were in our human story today. So thank you for having me.
And earlier we got to introduce Rob, but today I'd like to bring through, if we can, I know earlier you brought in Ardif, could we bring Treb in? Okay, so Treb, tell us a little bit about Treb.
Treb is a benevolent reptilian human hybrid. He's from Capella, which is a 4-star star system, and he is amazing. He's the gentle giant, heart-filled reptilian lizard guy, and that's how most people see him, but he's great.
And what I love about Treb and Rob bringing through this wonderful energy, which we'll get to experience here, is Treb helped me break my stigma of sort of demonizing reptilians. We hear this in the spiritual community all the time. The reptilian's bad, stay away. And not all reptilians are bad, just like not all humans are bad. You know, there's bad Pleiadians, I heard at some point, yeah, right? So I'm sure there's bad, and good, bad, it's all relative, but we really need to tune into the frequency and the vibration of these energies and get away from labels and names. So that's what I've been doing with my work, with the exploration in the show, and hopefully today we can help break some of that stigma. Sean, with the Yahyel, well, you had a taste of Aisha a little bit earlier, so we'll explore that. We'll keep going with that. And Wendi and the Pleiades, Viviane and the Arcturians, and then our Lyran family too. So if it's okay, I know for the 3 of you guys, we're going to gently go into the channeling state and bring through the representatives. And start asking questions, if that's okay. You guys need a moment to do that? I can tell Treb's already doing it. All right. So since Treb is right here, I'm going to hold the microphone for him. So Treb, welcome.
Yes, good evening, Reuben as well.
So Treb, you said in past channelings that you're from the Capella star system, and I'm wondering how that star system and how your race is connected to humanity.
Yes, if you look at Capella as a star system, system, but more so our own race that humans affectionately have called Yit. This energy is directly related to human consciousness. There are versions of humans that leave Earth in your linear future time, and when you are leaving Earth in your future linear time, there are many pathways that can be taken. One certain group of humans that left Earth go to a star system that is known as Beta Leporis, or the Star of Nihor, and these entities were human and transmuted their consciousness, because when you are living in other planets, the DNA of that planet and the DNA of the being shift and merge as one. So it is not human beings, but a different race that is connected to a different planet. But because they are human in nature and human in experience and history, they bring forward an understanding of how great fear of reptilian energy is. So then they decide that they desire to create a race of beings that were partially reptilian from an animal consciousness and mix it with their own human DNA. And this is where our own race started as well. So we are a distant relative of yours, but your own perspective would say that it is far in the future. But we are actually with you right now and right here as well.
Excellent, thank you. So I know we're going to get into this a little bit later with the Lyrans. The Lyrans are sort of our past, and you're sort of our future.
Yes, one of many, many futures of possibility and probability as well.
Awesome, thank you. And for our Yahyel family members here, is Aishua available to?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Test. Okay. So, Aishua, I know the Yahyel come in many forms and fashions, and I'm wondering, Aishua's version of the Yahyel, how is that connected to humanity?
You could say we are human beings, yes, so it is part of the human race and the vast varieties of expressions of humanity physically in that way. So you could say we have always existed in that sense. Yes, always have existed, transforming into different forms of human form expression in that way. Eternally, always we have existed.
And if we were to take one of the root races that we're familiar with, that we're connecting with, for example, Sirius, Lyra, Orion, Pleiades, what would best be in alignment with Aishua's Yahyel version?
It is of, you could say, the Andromeda galaxy.
Excellent. So, perfect. All right. Well, let's check in with our Pleiadian family here. And I think many of us know how important and how intertwined we are with the Pleiadians. They seem to be popping in all the time. But for the ninth dimensional Pleiadians, could you give us a little history on your connections with humanity?
So the Pleiades is quite diverse in nature, and it's unique in many ways in that many of the dimensions are inhabited with beings who are interested in exploration. Not all star systems will have beings who will, say, exist in the seventh dimension or the sixth dimension. They may go to another star system to explore that. And so the Pleiades is a little unique in that way. And we are progenitors for you. We have donated our genetic material to your species. And there are 4 other races that have done this to help you to develop and to grow, and we are stewards for you. We are overseeing your development, and we've been here for hundreds of thousands of years, helping you along the way. Now, some of the archetypal patterns that you experience here in terms of the Pleiades has to do with, well, one, boundaries. The Pleiades, many beings throughout the Pleiadian star system wanted to work on that area, and we didn't fare so well with the Syrians We felt that we knew better, and we decided we were going to teach them, help them, but we didn't really understand boundaries at the time, or responsibility at the time, and we failed at that. And through our development and learning from that process, we are now working with you, and we're holding healthy boundaries as you all are going. And that's something that you're working on, that you learn when to be a beacon of light for someone else without having to do it for them. And the Pleiades is very vast, and there are non-physicals such as us. We don't have physical form. We're a collective of about 2,500 beings of light. And then you've got physicals, the blonde-haired Nordics, for example, that you see and experience. And then, you know, there are many, many different species, reptilians, as you mentioned. Some of them are quite lovely. And, you know, it's just quite diverse, but we're here to help you. We're here to help you with your records. That is something else that we do. We are keepers of records. We're also keepers of frequency. So we monitor what you consider to be timelines, because there are beings who have developed to such a level that they can very easily manipulate time. And so that gets monitored to make sure that there is not a destructive ripple effect that goes throughout the universe, because it is possible to create a lot of problems as beings move about time. And so we monitor that. We help support you with that, and also your understanding of the nature of time, the illusion of time. So it's very vast, but we're here more than anything to be stewards for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
It's our pleasure.
And Viviane, with the Actaurians, how are they interacting with humanity, and what is their role?
Well, we have been interacting with your quadrant on your solar system for well over 3 millions, between 3 and 4 millions of years. We are considered as one of the great guardians of the ambassadors in the multiverse. So the first approach we have was through the Andromeda system, when the Andromedan approached us and appointed the first task, and we agreed to collaborate with them, and then we've expanded our collaboration with a multitude of interplanetary councils and star regency councils, and move on. So we also work very closely with an aspect of the Pleiadians, especially the original ones in their High Council, as well as the Sacred Library for the original DNA template with the Lyrians and others system. So we've been appointed to the solar system a long, long time ago, where it was at the original inception, and then the Earth was chosen as an ark. And we talk about the Ark of the Covenant. So we have contributed in terms of very specific light encoding information to this ark, and it was sent out into the Earth a long time ago, because we knew that as too we have been observing that the timeline had been shifting a lot. So we're looking at the potential of the timelines where you have reached that point now, and especially over the next 3 years, what we call the triple gateway that you just entered. So for a long time, we've been, think of us as guardians, masters and teachers. We're more observers, but we also very much have outposts on the planet. We went more on the ground to work with the grid system. We work also with the numerous starseeds who've been returning to the planet throughout a multitude of timeline and generational timelines. So we coming back more and more in the frequencies of the Actaurians now on the planet, because the future timeline, this is what we've come to do. We come to bring that into stabilization and helping you to finally enter that era of your re-ascension process. So this is why we work with so many delegations, and we are really amazing guardians, and we've been monitoring your the Earth and anything in proximity of the Earth with our ship. And let's just say that sometimes we clear the pathway to make sure that negativity get pushed out of the way, so to allow a more positive, more harmonious collaboration alongside with the masters like Yeshua. We work a lot with them as well, and the spiritual hierarchy or also oversees the ascension timeline for the Earth. So we've been very active in multiple ways.
You just, I think you said, did you say divination? Like, did you say divination? The Arcturians work with divination? Maybe I misheard that. No, okay. Sorry, it was light there. Well, thank you. Thank you, Arcturians, for your guidance and wisdom. How about Lyra And are they around? Are they still working with us? How does that work?
There is no linear time, so what happened in Lyra millions of years ago still happens simultaneously in our reality. I'm speaking on behalf of the Royal House of Avion, which is a group of etheric lion beings who were the co-creators of the reality that we currently exist in, is a part of now. These lion beings actually, I'm going to speak for them, step into that right now. Okay, we've come from a different universe. We've been playing this game of co-creation and separation from source in a multitude of universes. It was this universe's turn to have this experience. So we came here billions of years ago to start this experience here. Initially, we had chosen the Andromeda Galaxy to be a location for the experience, but it was energetically too high vibrational. So we decided as a co-creation group to create another galaxy, which is the one that we currently are located in, which is the Milky Way. This galaxy was ideal as far as inhabiting both the higher dimensional realms and also the lower physical realms that we are currently experiencing at this time. Us as lion beings, we wanted to create versions of ourselves that were physical. So we started this in the Lyra constellation. We chose Lyra for two reasons. First of all, it was ideal as far as its location and suitability for physical life. Even today, there's planets in the Lyra constellation that are inhabitable. The other reason is because it was located next door to Draco. I know that's going to sound kind of shocking because of the Lyra and Draconian Wars, but we actually had specifically chosen this location to start a duality experience, to experience light against dark. We did not plan for the devastation of the Lyra Draconian Wars, but it taught us many valuable lessons. And because of this, we were able to expand into other locations of the galaxy. Humanity began as a collaboration between the etheric lion beings and the avian groups that originated from Andromeda Galaxy. We combined our DNA along with the avian DNA and also DNA from indigenous sources throughout the galaxy in order to create humanity. Humanity at this time is a wonderful template that we have brought through from a multitude of different universes. That's been kind of the ongoing template that we're currently experiencing here right now, but the Earth experience is the apex of this collaboration. Here on Earth, we are experiencing getting a download here. Sorry, guys, trying to see what they're showing me. We're experiencing a collaboration of accelerated ascension. This has been unforeseen or unperceived or unprecedented throughout the history of this galaxy. We are experiencing as we speak right now. The Lyran culture and civilization has contributed not just genetics to this planet, but also our societal structures, the structures of even elemental energy such as fire and water and air and earth. And most of all, you've all inherited our ability for, let me see what the word they're showing me here is. We're showing you a collaboration of ingenuity and also perseverance and survival. So that's what I want to end with. Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
I'd like to ask a question about the Ascension timeline. Is there a point when those who have the ability to perceive beyond the third dimensional spectrum of consciousness and into a new fifth dimensional spectrum will actually then have as their focal point the fifth dimension, not to include the daily interaction with the third dimension, if that makes sense? And maybe we can start with Trev.
Yes. In this moment, your own energy holds that very fifth dimensional form, and in fact the physicality of reality upon Earth is that fifth density forms of energy that is fifth dimensional in some perspective, and that energy is available to all humans at this moment, but to be fixated and focused in that reality in a more permanent way, this energy requires a being more fifth dimensional in your experience and nature, and all of you who are expanding into your own minds and expanding past the mind into the heart and expanding your consciousness by knowing yourself in a very high level of degree, this energy brings that peaking past your reality now, and this is what we understood you mean by going back and forth into those energies. Some days you experience only the third dimensional form of energy, and others a fifth dimension will peek through it moment to moment. But these experiences will continue. For the entirety of Earth race, it is a different answer for what it is for just one of you, because one of you are able to do this and do so for longer periods of times, and this could take you years of practice, or decades of practice, or hundreds of years of practice to do this as an individual. But as a collective form of energy, the transition is the understanding of the collective energy itself. It is knowing that this energy of the collective can be first understood, and secondly experienced, and thirdly embraced. And once these things occur, and Earth collective energy becomes open to being an actual collective of energy, then you can experience that energy as a collective. But humans enjoy their duality very much, and this energy helps you perpetuate being able to peek into that dimension that is slightly higher or very much higher than yours, and then continue playing that game of division and playing the game of duality. So if you as an individual wish to seek this energy, it is available to you in this very moment. But as an entire collective energy, you will play that energy until all of the shared collective versions of the personal persons that are individual decide to join together and have that very collective form of singular collective experiences as well.
Join us for our 10th anniversary celebration during our 2025 Sedona Ascension Retreat, celebrating a new humanity uniting and a new earth arising, featuring the world's most renowned spiritual teachers, best-selling authors, and award-winning performers. Our retreat includes a dozen indoor workshops and 8 outdoor journeys into Sedona's vortex sites, as well as a Native American performance by world champions, the Sinqua family. Enjoy on-stage presentations.
All crystallized seed at the center of that orb of light is your physical mind.
So today we'll be talking about religion versus spirituality, because I think there needs to be a clear line drawn between the two to get a better understanding.
This path that we're all on has been well mapped. The science is established, and what we are doing today is recovering.
Because there's going to be such higher states of consciousness on the planet, such an influx of energy, people will start getting activated. And you will have atheists that suddenly see angels.
The greatest gift you can offer. I am your host, Suzanne Ross, and I invite you to join us for our 10th anniversary celebration. Just visit SedonaAscensionRetreats.com. Reserve your seats today. I'll see you in Sedona.
I love every single one of you with all of my heart. I mean it. I mean it. I love you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Thank you so much.
So, Aisho, I'm wondering, from your perspective, what can humanity do to stay in this fourth density reality, fifth dimensional consciousness? What tips can you give us to stay in that a little bit, or speed up the process, or any words of wisdom for us?
To invite the feeling of your love of self in every moment. Flow through you. To invite feeling unconditionally loved in every moment. To have unconditional love for yourself in every moment. To therein be able to appreciate and accept every experience that you have in every moment. To embrace every experience you have in every moment, knowing that you are the one creating it, accepting your creation. When you put out acceptance of the creation you're experiencing, then you get back acceptance from creation, and you're in the flow of the unconditional love you actually are. Know that you create your realities through what you most strongly put out, and that you are an aspect of the all that is the one. So it is not just the individual you that you are used to or familiar with. Allow yourself to expand who you perceive yourself to be, to include all that is. Accept all that is, for it is you. And when you put out acceptance for all that is you, then all that is you and your experience each day of life is accepting you. You get back the feeling of being accepted, of being supported, of being loved unconditionally. Feeling the infinite number of ways this can flow through you, more and more, and knowing the ways you are experiencing are the ways that in that moment are the most meaningful, fulfilling, and enjoyable for you. All the while, there are an infinite number of other ways you could be feeling love unconditionally. Accept all that you are experiencing, for you are the one creating it through what you most strongly put out is what you get back. Take responsibility for all that you are experiencing, for you are the one that is creating, because you are part of the all that is the one. And then you can focus on those versions of your experience that you prefer, the ones you prefer, while accepting the ones that aren't that positive in your current definition system. Accept all that is and focus on the ones you prefer. Know, understand, recognize, invite, allow, accept. All that it is and all you're experiencing is you. Love all that it is, all that you are experiencing. And therein you are loving yourself, supporting yourself. Embrace yourself in this way. And the joy that can come to you in an infinite number of ways find you in more and more moments happens serendipitously, synchronistically, spontaneously, effortlessly, funfully, playfully, excitedly, nourishingly. Accept that you are eternal, unconditional love. Accept all that you're experiencing because you are the one creating it. Focus on the experiences you prefer. Allow yourself to know in this that that which will come through your experience in each next moment will be of unconditional loving support for you as you are willing to accept what is going to come through next for you. Don't fear it. Don't hesitate. Know that you're loving all things, and whatever comes back to you will be a loving thing, will be a loving experience. Support and be supported unconditionally. Supporting and being supported. Accepting and thus getting back being accepted. Being appreciated. Having the feeling of gratitude for all that you're experiencing allows all that you're experiencing to express gratitude for you. And how you can experience gratitude and appreciation and joy and playfulness varies from moment to moment. There isn't a point where it gets dull or boring. It's always there, the opportunity to tap into the new ways. You can feel joy flowing through you effortlessly, easily. Because it's more in alignment with the actual nature of unconditional love that exists eternally that you already always are. Accept all that is, and you get back being accepted by all that is. And focus on those things of all that is that you prefer. Do you put out choosing more joy, play, excitement, connecting synchronistically to other people that are also feeling and creating this way? More and more your civilization is all there in doing that. And you can all do the most enjoyable, playful, exciting things that are supporting each of you individually, and in that nobody else is getting in anybody else's way. On any day. Instead, every day you're all together as one being. Being one collective earth human civilization. It's a reality that exists here and now, here and now, here and now. And not in just one form, not in just one way. There are a multitude of ways. Your civilization can tap into the now in which you are experiencing this joy, unconditional love. If you could say fifth dimension, heart wisdom reality is more in our vocabulary, vernacular. Heart wisdom, you could say fifth dimension. Heart wisdom, you could say fifth. You could talk about it however you want to label it. Yes, unconditional love by any other name is still unconditional love.
Excellent. Thank you. So, Wendi and the Pleiadians, from my understanding, you had your civilization had a similar journey. You started in the physical, and I'm just wondering what were the key evolutionary mechanisms or marker points for your transition from third density into fourth density?
Well, that was a very long time ago from your linear vantage point. But first we have to talk about the nature of time. And because it's all concurrent, we have to decide which level of the answer we're going to give you. Do we give you the kindergarten version? Do we give you the high school version? Or the PhD students version?
Which version do you want, guys? PhD. All right, we got PhDs in here.
So there are still aspects of ourselves that are there, having that beginning experience. And this information is stored within your energetic field. So at any time, you can go inside, you can put yourself in your heart center and access that information. How are they working through it in that moment? You all have this idea that when you project into reality, you have to do it in a linear way. That you start 5,000 years ago, then you have another life 3,000 years ago, and then 1,000, and here you are. No. You pick the time frame that has the setup that you want to go explore. You are not condemned to stay in this wheel forever on planet Earth. There's an aspect of you that's off in all these different star systems right now at all these different levels. Take a breath. So we'll answer your question, but we also want to get to Suzanne's question here. And that was in terms of when is ascension going to happen and when are we going to pull out of 3D? Well, you're already out of 3D. You're in 4D. So the rules of 3D are very fixed, and so are the rules of 5D. So 3D, you have the illusion of separation, and you have this illusion of linear time. And then in 5D, you have no time. You have the ability to project yourself to any now moment that you really want, and things are immediately manifest. And you know that you're an aspect of Source. Now, to play in the game, you'll kind of don a costume, but you know with certainty that you are part of Source energy. There's no doubt. Here, you doubt it. You say, well, I think I am, but do I know that with certainty? I hope so. I hope that happens. I hope I go through the ascension process. Fifth dimension, you know it. Because they're so different, you needed an entire dimensional range in order to make that transition in the same body. And so 4D is very malleable. You can project 3D rules onto the game, or you can project 5D rules. And you will all have this experience where some days it feels very 3D and heavy, and other days where you are in the flow and you are immediately manifesting. And you'll go back and forth until you eventually stay in that fifth dimensional version. So when you ask us about coming out of 3D, you're already out of it. Now, you don't experience linear time, so we want to talk very briefly. We don't want to take up too much time, but think about a massive sphere. And on the surface of the sphere, there are infinite dots, and every dot is a now moment. Every now moment is based upon a collective frequency. What the collective says is your history. Thing A happened, thing B happened, World War I, World War II, and then your personal history, the stories you tell yourself. And they are stories, because if you went back and you observed what you actually experienced, you said, ooh, I missed that. That's not the story I took forward with me. You will take the story that serves you for the exploration of frequency. But you have your personal history there, and that creates the base frequency upon which you perceive your reality. Now, you make tiny little movements to now moments that are next to each other on the surface of the sphere. But at any moment, you could go completely to the other side and have a radically different experience, and that's what most of you call a miracle. That you have pulled yourself out of the daily story that you tell yourself. People who go through immediate remission, that's what they've done. They've radically altered their belief system. So some of you will move to a dot that's very different than the one that you're on, or maybe someone else that you were acquainted with will choose to go someplace else, and you won't share that. You may not necessarily think about it. So when you ask for a hard fixed 3D number of when are we going out of this, it's very difficult for us to tell you, because we want to give you the higher version of the answer, because some of you will choose to go through it sooner than others. And that's all right. You won't know any different. You'll think everybody has just come along for the ride for you. Take a breath. All right, so we know we've taken up a lot of time. We don't know if you want us to answer the rest of your question or move along.
Well, what do you guys want? A little bit more? Yeah, answer the rest. Hold on.
Remind us of your question. Talk so much.
I was just, the Pleiadians had their evolutionary step from third density to fourth density. So I was just wondering, what were some of the key factors, or if it's relatable at all for our human experience? I heard from another channel that the Pleiadians also had a virus that they were dealing with during their evolution. I'm not. Were there any other things that helped with this escalation?
Well, a lot of it is very, very similar, because as we said, we donated our genetic material, and along with that comes a lot of the setup All right, when you choose your family, you will choose your family based on the genetics to help set up programs for you. And because we've given you our DNA, a lot of the programs are very similar. All right, so that you can kind of find a unique way to work through what we have worked through. Competition was a bit of an issue in the Pleiades star system. Boundaries, as we mentioned with the Syrians, all right? And we also carry a lot of the Lyran DNA in the Pleiades star system because many of the beings in the Pleiades system came from Lyra. So it's not so different, the things that we've experienced. And, you know, the Pleiades, in terms of physical dimension, it's a vast system. It's an open cluster of about 750 stars. And there are about 300 high civilizations that are akin to Lemuria or Atlantis, all right, that are still kind of going through the process of releasing judgment and understanding the very principles that you're going through right now. But as we said at the beginning, you can access that as you go into your heart center. You can access all of this Akashic information. It's available to you. The wisdom is available to you. And you're not going to open up to records that don't serve you here and now. And that's the last thing we want to say here, is that if you have a past life memory, or you go into the Akashic records and you're watching what's going on in other civilizations, you are accessing that information because it serves you here and now. It is the same frequency that you are playing out in your day-to-day life. Now, the mask that wears may be different. Maybe there was severe persecution going on maybe you were in the Orion system. And maybe here in this lifetime, you were bullied as a child. All right, or you feel like your boss is persecuting you because he's constantly criticizing you and pointing out your mistakes in front of other people. Or maybe you are intuitive and you feel persecuted for your different belief systems. It looks different on the surface, but the frequency is the same. So when you view those records, what it allows you to do is to view the frequency from a vibration that is not so intense to you, meaning you can see it in a more neutral way because it's not your life. And you can take the knowledge and wisdom that you gain from that observance and apply it to the here and now. So use that knowledge when you remember other lifetimes. How does this serve me here and now? All right?
Wonderful. Thank you. So, Viviane, with the Actaurians, we know they're sort of coined the spiritual, many different other civilizations go to the Actaurus system for spiritual pilgrimage. Am I correct in saying that? So I'm wondering, in the future, will humans be taking spiritual pilgrimages, or are they already now taking pilgrimages to the Actaurus system?
Great questions. So, of course, it's an ongoing process. We do have a Stargate, or a multidimensional portal that is in proximity to the Earth. And what we do is that we coach so many souls who are ready to move on from this physical experience and are taking on the journey to go to the next octave of their evolution. So what we do is that we collaborate and we take those souls through our interdimensional portal and we take you to our system. And the Actaurus system, or the way we call it, the Actaurus realm, is really a place for soul evolution, where we help soul to heal. We're a great healer as a soul. We look at the soul matrix, we look at the lessons, we look at what was the blueprint of the previous incarnation, and we look at the potential of the next phase of evolution for that soul or that group of soul. We sometimes see group of souls coming out of the earth, playing in existence, and then they're ready to move on. So we are really active in that sense. Actaurians think of us as a future example of who you are today, but you simply forgot about. So you're moving through the bend of the veil of forgetfulness, and you're starting to see that that veil really belongs to the third dimensional realm, because it is part of the experience of dualistic, polarized reality. We talk about illusion of separation, So you have retracted yourself to think that this identity or these persona have become who you are. So as you're releasing these overlays, you are increasing your capacity and your field of receptivity to be able to receive the next level of frequencies or the experiential frequency band that will allow you to shift into a new dimensional awareness perspective. So we're very much bringing the souls, not just out of body, but we are very active. There's so many points of contact on the planet. Many of you relate to the Arcturian frequencies. It brings a lot of emotions, heart opening. That's because we are really emanating, exuding that frequency to inspire you to really activate this rich potential that you have encoded within you. If you look just at your DNA template and the quantum field of your DNA, there's very active markers within the DNA that is coming back more online, and they start to reactivate certain innate abilities, your gifts, your opening, remembering your soul ancestry. So you're really returning more to identify yourself as first as a divine essence of light, and also as a cosmic being. We see you as galactic royalties. You're part of a very vast multiverse who've been evolving for so long. You're finally returning to that point of awareness. So you're letting go, as we talk about, the stories, the identities, the overlays of your past history, and everything on the planet is shifting along with you. Look at just this year, 2024, the new grid system are coming back to Gaia. You're shifting into new alignment. There's much more presence of the solar energies. We work also with the solar beings. And we can tell that the solar presence is really there to serve as a catalyst for the acceleration of the next level of your evolution. So we're going to take on a much more active roles. In fact, my role as an Arcturian being in this hybridized human form, I'm here for the future timeline, which you're just entering, and we're going to bring in the next level of knowledge directly from our spherical archives that we have learned for thousands of years. We're going to bring in the next level of knowledge, teaching, techniques, and we really want to encourage you to believe in yourself. So when you hear many of us saying, be in the heart, what is ascension? How do we shift from 3D to 4D to 5D? We simply say it is simply an experience. It's a movement from one experiential dimension to the next higher dimension experiences. When you go back to your heart, you open the sacred bridge of consciousness between your higher mental faculties and your heart center. You start to understand that you have the abilities to decode, whether it's like language, read sacred side, whether it's the decoding of your own DNA, whether it's the remembrance of what your codons also contains. You start to understand also your ability to tap into your own soul akashic field. You can read any akashic field that you want, whether it's galactic, cosmic, the Great Hall of Records. You can talk to any of us at any time. It is no longer a mystery that you need to figure things out. It's no longer, a journey that once you're ready, you're going to get there. You are already here. You have to give yourself the proper credit. We see you as equal. We see you with the same potential. At the same time, as I mentioned, we're here as a future placeholder for what you can reach. Why do we went above and beyond to send so many of us on the planet for generations? That's because we want to be there with you and reminding you of that potential that you hold. And I can tell you every day we can feel the emanation of your thought forms, those waves coming back to the earth that is moving up to the solar system, and all of your galactic brothers and sisters understand, they feel you, they receive you. So it is really time to really live in the authenticity of who you are. Release the stories which we agree upon. Release also the persona or the overlays of this persona you put on, and ask yourself, Today I am ready to reclaim my sovereignty as a divine being of light in this human experience, and I claim my space, my time here in the now as an ascension being. Are you ready to claim this?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So I know we're running low on time, so last question from the Lyrans. How, as our parents, so to say, how are we doing? How's humanity doing in this room? At least in this room.
I would say we're doing okay, but we can do a lot better. So the download I got from, I'm really connecting with the lion beings tonight, so thank you for the opportunity, lion beings, but what came through was that I think a lot of us have forgotten who we truly are and where we came from, and part of, I guess, my mission as a galactic historian is to help you, to remind you of where we came from. But the lion beings wanted to share that the most important thing is to remember that we all came from Source, that we are all connected, and that our ultimate journey is to return to Source, but that sounds like so far away, right? So how do we do that? We go back to the roots of who we are as a species, as a collective, and to bring forth not only the remembrance of our genetics, but also the remembrance of our abilities, of our galactic gifts, and start integrating that, start integrating these gifts. We all have psychic abilities, like Wendi and Viviane so eloquently mentioned. We all have access to the Akashic records, so it's not just a realm that only a few of us can access it, all of us can access it, and there's many of us that are happy to teach you to access it, but actually you can do it on your own. And that's going to be, I would say, the quickest way to activate this process or this journey back to Source. Specifically, what I saw in the Akashic records was that we are currently rebuilding the Avalon template. This is Avalon was a beautiful paradise planet in the Lyra constellation that was destroyed during the Lyra Draconian Wars. This was a template that was the essence of the highest human potential. This is currently occurring, just as Wendi and the others here have mentioned. We are currently re-implementing this template as we speak. However, we could develop more of a, I would say, a conscious, just making a conscious decision to really integrate all of the spirituality, our connection with the divine, with who we are today. Embracing maybe stepping into Christ consciousness and doing it as a conscious decision every single moment, every single day. I think Sean was alluding to this earlier. And also to maybe practice a little bit, clearing your pineal gland or working with some of the psychic abilities, re-tapping into those divine aspects of yourself. And like I said, there's, those of us that are happy to help you on this journey, but I would say that's the beginning activation process of returning to the original template. I know most of you are already more than halfway there, so it's exciting to see the development in the last few years. But anyway, I just want to end with the whole idea of returning to Source. When you do return to Source, there's a bliss like you will not imagine. It's beyond comprehension. There's a golden light, and you still you retain your individuality, but also you feel this deep connection. And that's the future that I hope to impart on all of us here today. That we can reach our highest potential, but also co-create together this beautiful new future, not just here on planet Earth, but on our journey out to the stars. Thank you.
So it sounds like we're going home. All right, well, thank you all for sharing this wisdom and being our galactic ambassadors for this wonderful transition in humanity, our ascension, this time of ascension. And Suzanne, I'll let you take it from here.
Sincere gratitude to each and every one of you. I so appreciate you. Thank you. And I love and appreciate you. Go home and have dreams about Avalon, right? See you tomorrow morning. Love you.
See you guys tomorrow.
This concludes the first day of our Sedona Ascension Retreat. Stay tuned for Saturday's full lineup.